Hey everybody, welcome back to Tim Travels. It's your host Terry with my sidekick Beatrice. We're here in Wilmington, Illinois at U.S. Cold Storage. So I brought a load here and then I was hooking up to grab an empty and I got a dispatch picking up here. So I just went back inside and I'm like, hey, I got a load leaving here. And so they basically plugged in the trailer that I already had on my back, the empty, and then just gave me a door. So I'm essentially going to get a live onload, but it's only 9:05 and this load wasn't supposed to be ready until at least noon, and it was a noon to midnight range. So it's all good because I can just hang here and not have to go anywhere, not have to do anything, and just try to stay cool because it's like a swamp in Chicagoland. So anyway, not gonna do any really history, geography other than what I just did. Little weather though, there were some tornadoes in the Chicago area last night, and there's possibly going to be some tonight, although in a different part of the region. But so anyway, that's that. Somebody asked me about my fueling strategy. Somebody made a comment, and I apologize, I can never remember. I should just write it down, but I can't remember it. So I'm gonna get right into it because the numbers, I use numbers to calculate stuff. I mean, I know that sounds really simplistic, but I'll show you how I use the numbers and what I do now and what my calculus is. That's not necessarily going to be the case for everybody. Everybody has different reasons for doing different things, and I'm just going to tell you what I feel works for me. Okay, so let me first start out by saying that if you're a prime driver, and I think the person who asked me this is a prime driver because of some of the terminology they used, you know that on the app you can get base fuel prices, okay? And base fuel prices are the price of a gallon of fuel without any state, federal fuel tax added onto it. So when you go to the truck stop, you see that big green set of numbers. That's the price with taxes. Okay, so I don't even concern myself with what it says at the pump or what it says on the giant sign. Okay, I only concern myself with base price. Why? Because they taught us in ACE class that you should always get the lowest base price. That's how you ultimately save money, because the taxes are what the taxes are, and it doesn't matter if you pay high taxes in one state and low taxes in the other. It's still going to come out that you have to pay the taxes for the miles you drove through a given state. So it doesn't matter if you pay a butt ton of taxes in Pennsylvania or almost no taxes in Missouri. Because if you drive from Missouri up to Pennsylvania and you go through Illinois and Indiana, Ohio, you're going to owe taxes in those states. So if you underpaid, you're going to have to kick in money when they do the reconciliation or the audit. And if you overpaid, then you get a refund. But at the end of the day, it still has to be paid. Okay? So it's not shopping around based on the tax numbers, to me, is useless, because they got to get paid, and they're not going to get overpaid, they're not going to get underpaid. So it's just it's just a matter of when you incur them. That's kind of my view on it. So let me also say that I almost never go to a Petro or a TA. I don't care for them. Most of them, to me, are decrepit. And I'm not saying there's not some Flying J's, Pilots, and Loves that fall into that category. But it seems like there are a lot more new or newer Flying J's, Pilots, and I think anything that they make new is Pilot and Love's, right? And I just, I'm also kind of loyal to Love's because ever since I've kind of been in trucking, that's where I've always gone. I like their, loyalty program better than I like Flying J's, and I'm going to explain to you why. Okay, so this morning I needed to get fuel. And so what I did is I looked on my app and I said, okay, what are fuel prices? Now keep in mind that Prime now has a contract with Pilot Flying J, okay? And they don't have a contract with Love's anymore. Now sometimes Pilot Flying J is substantially cheaper than Love's at a given location. But other times it's not cheaper, or the difference is minimal. And the instructors at ACE will tell you, oh, well, you still want to go with the lowest price. But I'm going to explain to you why that may not be in your best interest, or why it's definitely not in my best interest. Okay, so here's what the fuel prices were this morning. So at Love's, it was $2.42. That's in Plymouth, Indiana. And at Flying J and Pilot, it was $2.41 at the truck stop I was at last night outside of Fort Wayne. So what did I do? Well, I decided to just fuel at Love's. And you say, well, why, Terry? Why would you pay extra? Okay, so let's look at this. I fueled 60 gallons. Okay, so basically I paid 60 cents. I paid 60 cents more for that 60 gallons. Okay, but here's why I did it. Because at Pilot Flying J, I would have received 1.5 points. Okay, 1.5 points, because you kind of got to ramp up to the 4-point level, the highest level. But I already get 4 points at Love's. So even though I paid 60 cents more, right, I got $2.40 worth of points. Now you say, well, I don't want to buy anything there. Their points don't matter. Well, if that's the case, then go get the cheapest you can possibly find. That might be TA, who knows, right? Go get the cheapest you can possibly find. But for me, it's not. So if I subtract that 60 cents, right, that leaves me with $1.80 net positive. Okay, $1.80 of something that's of value to me. Okay, now the other reason that I like Love's is stuff at Love's is cheaper, and I'm going to give you a real world example right now. This morning, before I left, that Flying J I was at, I bought 3 things. I bought a drink refill. I bought a package of granola bars, the green ones, the Nature Valley granola bars, and I bought a package of these kind of Pop-Tarts, right? Because brown sugar cinnamon is awesome. So I bought those 3 things: drink refill, Pop-Tarts, Nature Valley granola bar. The cost to me at the Pilot Flying J was $4.92. $4.92. And I didn't use any points. Then when I went to the Love's, I got my 60 gallons of fuel, and then I went inside and I bought some stuff. here's what I bought. One Nature Valley granola bar, a drink refill, soda, this one like this, okay, and 3 of these. No, I didn't eat all of them. I saved the 3, right? 3 of these though. You know what my check, you know what it cost me? And I used no points. And I got the sales slip right in front of me. $2.87. $2.87. I used no points at either place. And I got significantly more. I got 2 extra packs of Pop-Tarts at Love's. Now they were on sale, but here's the thing. One of these at Love's is 99 cents. At Pilot Flying J, it's at least $1.19, but I think it might be $1.28. And they didn't even have a special on them. Okay? And I know that's just one example, but I've compared prices on stuff that I buy, whether it's a bag of tortilla chips, whatever it is, right? Even drink refills, like even if you're paying cash, right? And so because I'm still getting 4 points, which is I'm still at the diamond level. I'm still at the diamond level here's my diamond, at Love's. And you say, well, how is that? Because I didn't buy 1,500 gallons of fuel last month. And by the way, DEF also counts in those gallon numbers. Okay, so they don't care, diesel or DEF, each gallon counts, right? I didn't buy 1,500 gallons of anything last month at Love's, which would normally give me diamond status. But Love's knows that I'm a Prime driver. You say, how do they know? Because I stick my fuel card in. I guarantee, because I've been pretty loyal to Love's, I guarantee Love's could tell you every time I changed a job, because they know who I'm buying fuel on whose account. So Love's knows I'm a Prime driver. Love's knows they lost the contract. But Love's also knows that all the lease operators, owner operators at Prime can fuel wherever the hell they want, right? Because they're paying for it, okay? And so that 1 cent difference is actually money in my pocket for 2 reasons. One is because I get more points. And by the way, I bought a Garmin, I think it's a 750 DEZL diesel trucker nav. I did a little review about it on my channel several months ago, but I bought that with Love's points, all of it, Love's points. And so I think what's going on, and because I'm diamond at Love's, I get free refills. I don't have to pay for them. I had to pay for the refill at Pilot today, or Flying J. I get unlimited showers, whereas at Pilot Flying J, I only get a shower credit if I do at least a 50-gallon fill-up, right? And so for me, being loyal to Love's is beneficial. Now, last month I did fuel quite a bit at Pilot Flying J. The reason is that when I was out west, for example, like I was in Laramie, Wyoming, there's a really nice Love's in Laramie. And there's a really crappy Pilot Flying J, I don't know which one, across the street. But the really crappy Pilot had fuel that was 12 cents a gallon cheaper than the Love's. So when it's a number like that, then I gotta consider, I gotta go to that cheaper fuel, because even the 4 cents on the card and even the better prices is not gonna necessarily make up for 12 cents a gallon. Because you do the math, right? 12 cents a gallon on 60 gallons, that's a lot of money. It's $7.20 actually. Okay, so that wouldn't make up for the fact that I'm saving money here and getting 4 points per gallon. It really probably wouldn't make up for it, because if I got I'd have to calculate what the delta is here and what my points are, but that's kind of my calculus, okay? That's my fueling strategy. Now, let me say this, and I could show this to you. In fact, I will show it to you. So I am getting, and I'm going to read the numbers. So I've basically run 32,500 miles since I've been in this truck at Prime. That's a little bit under, because there's probably like 5 to 10 miles that I wasn't keeping track. And I'm averaging 9.6 miles per gallon. I'm averaging 42 miles per hour. Okay. Now, I will say this. I know that mileage number is significantly higher than Prime's fleet average. The miles per hour number is lower. I think our miles per hour number is around 48, but I'll just show you that so you can see I'm not BSing you, okay? And that's up and down mountains, that's driving 65 a lot of the time, okay? But part of my strategy is I know when I need to drive 65, and I analyze when I need to do it and what kind of terrain I'm going to be in. So like if I got a trip coming from Cali, say, to the Chicago area, okay, I know that there are certain places where I'm going to be running downhill for like miles and miles and miles, like in Wyoming. But also in Nebraska, especially if I gotta kind of, hurry myself along, I'll go to 65 on the cruise heading east in Nebraska, because from the state line in Wyoming all the way till you hit the Missouri River in Omaha, it's downhill. Okay, Nebraska is just downhill. Iowa's up and down, but I probably would slow down in Iowa because I can roll down hills at 71, 72. Sorry, my ear was itching. But then in Illinois, Indiana, a lot of parts of Ohio, I run 65. Why? Because I can see what kind of mileage I'm getting in real time, and I'm still getting in excess of where I'm averaging. And that's the goal, right? Make your mileage be higher than your average, because then it's going to raise your average. The other thing that I do might piss other drivers off. They've never said anything, but then again, I don't have a CB. Like when I'm at half a mile from an exit, I get off the power. I go to basically idle at 500 RPMs. And the only reason it's at that is because the truck still has to power certain things like power steering, right? I coast. If no one's behind me, I'll coast all the way up an off ramp till I'm basically doing about 10 miles an hour by the time I get to the stop line. That does a lot of things. It saves fuel, it saves my brakes, okay? My goal is to coast into places, and that's one way I save fuel. The other way I save fuel is I take the cruise off, because you get better fuel economy on cruise, but I take the cruise off when I start heading down a hill where I'm going to pick up speed. Why? Because the cruise will, once you hit 5 over or so, it'll start applying the Jake brake. Well, I don't want to apply the Jake brake until I get up around 72. And keep in mind, if it's a 65 zone, I don't run it up to 72 or 73 coming down a hill. That's just asking for trouble. It's asking for a ticket. At that point, I probably, depending on where my cruise is set, I'll either control it myself to maybe around 68, or I just let the cruise do it. Let's say I was set at 63. It's going to run up to around 68, 69, and it's going to do its own thing, okay? But if it's a 70 or 75 or 80 mile an hour speed limit, I'll run it up to 72, 73. And if I'm still increasing speed, then I'll go to, like full Jake brake or whatever. But I take advantage of what I'm given. I take advantage of what I'm given, okay? And I think if you do that, right, and you keep good air pressure in your tires, you don't start out like you're running a drag race. Because guess what? Even when you floor it, it doesn't really go that fast, right? I don't care if you're bobtail, you don't go that fast. It's a truck, right? So why take it up to 2,000 RPMs or 1,800 when, keeping it at 15 or below is gonna be fine. Now, I will say that at the Ace class, they'll be like, oh, you can't run, the most you can run is like 62. Well, that's false, right? You can run all day long. I know I can run all day long east across Nebraska at 65 and still get 9.6 miles a gallon or more, okay? The other thing, even notwithstanding that I am idling right now because it's like pretty swampy out, cutting your idling time. Just if you don't have to idle, and I'm not saying sweat your butt off in your truck or freeze your butt off in your truck if the APU's not up to the task, right? But because candidly, if you've run out west, especially in the summertime, like Vegas, Arizona, I guarantee that your APU will not keep your truck. It probably won't keep it cool enough for you, especially during daylight hours. My other disadvantage is I don't have curtains in the front here. I only have the curtain right here. This is the first truck I've ever had that didn't have them in front. But, the funny thing is I never draw my curtains except if it's really hot. Like, the rest of the time, they're open. They're all open. I'm not worried that much about it. I don't if somebody really wants to watch me, in my skivvies or whatever, then, I'm cool with that. Maybe I need another channel on a different platform then, if that's really what people want to see. But that's the only reason I like the curtains in front is because when it's super hot out. But anyway, those are my strategies. And one other question that came up was, well, what about buying fuel right before payday or right before you go on home time? And my answer is this: I'm playing the long game, right? I'm dollar cost averaging. I buy 60 gallons here, 60 gallons there. I pay attention, right? Like, if I know where I'm going. So if I see fuel is like super cheap where I am, then I might buy a lot. I might fill my tanks up. If it's super cheap where I'm going, I'll buy just enough to get up there or get down there wherever I'm going, right? That's how I plan the trip. But like, one time I found fuel that was super cheap, and I was already basically ready to go on home time. I had an empty trailer, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna fuel this up. Why? Because I don't care if that fuel sits in my tanks. It's like money in the bank. Then I don't have to. Then if fuel prices go up when I'm home, then I've saved some money. If they go down, I'm going to burn up fuel as soon as I start back to work anyway. And by the way, pay attention. I can't remember her name, but there's a gal that sends out a message on pricing all the time. She tells what states are going to go up, when they're going to go up. The other thing she talks about is the fuel surcharge, if it's going up, down, etc. So like yesterday, the markets didn't do that well. The Dow was down because oil prices were dropping. So, trying to we're not in the arbitrage business, right? We're not buying and selling oil futures, okay? We're just truck drivers. And you could spend a lot of time thinking about this, but I guarantee that unless you build a model, like spreadsheets, like an Excel spreadsheet for all of this, and constantly update the data, you're probably spending a little too much time on it. I've told you what I kind of feel like doing and why I do it, and that's about as far as I'm willing to go. You know, I don't worry about payday cutoff. I don't worry about home time. If there's fuel in the tank, I'll use it at some point. It's not going to waste. And you know, while I'm on the road, I will look for good prices. And like I said, I might pay more at the pump to get more in rewards or save money or whatever, other amenities that I want. So that's got to be part of your calculus. If you're like, oh, I get the cheapest fuel, but then you turn around and pay for parking or pay for a shower, how did that help you, right? Oh, so what? You save 5 cents a gallon. You bought 100 gallons, you save $5, and then you turn around and pay them $12 to take a shower? Makes no sense. If you could get the shower for free and pay the $5 extra for fuel, you're money ahead. That's how I look at it. Anyway, sorry. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry about the length of this, but you know, it's a lot to think about. And yeah, B and I will be back shortly. We're going to Michigan with this load, so we'll see what happens. Be careful and stay out of tornadoes if you're in the Chicagoland area tonight. Take care. Bye.